Alright, welcome back everybody. It's us again. It's Frontier and Fjarlar. We're back again.
Howdy.
And today we're going to finish talking about what we started last time. We talked about Angelica last time. And today we're going to finish off everything that is probably going to be included with the next patch, which is scheduled for around July 2nd, I believe. It came out in China back in February, but for us it's going to come out. It should be our early July update. Alright, in this batch we're going to get, as we said, Angelica and Elucia. We're going to get 3 cost skills for Dieharte, Lana, and Kurama, and we are going to get equipment for Angelica and young Jessica. So let's just start by continuing where we left off last time, which we already talked about Angelica, so this time we can talk about Elucia. Do you want to do a little introduction for Elucia?
Okay. She's a water unit. She likes water. When in water, this unit's movement is considered aquatic, and physical damage is taken -10 to 20% when she is 6 stars, and will not die when taking fatal damage, recovering up to 20%, and can only be activated once per turn. You can go.
Alright, so right off the bat, I can notice a couple things about this. The first part of the talent where it says when in water her movement type is considered aquatic, that's purely because she has a non-aquatic class, a Lancer class I believe, and so that part of the talent is just so that when she's on her Lancer class she doesn't get, stubby legs when she's in water, because that would defeat the whole point of the unit. This talent only reduces physical damage. I feel like the character we should compare Elucia most to is probably Juggler, and to a lesser extent maybe Lester and Pierre, and I'll explain why in a second.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Juggler's damage reduction is for all damage, if I recall correctly. But Juggler's reduction rarely comes into play, because Juggler's reduction actually only activates when he's losing soldiers, so it doesn't matter too much. But Elucia is physical damage taken just from standing in water. So what this means is that I feel like Elucia is really, really tanky against physical hits. And of course she has a revive, which Juggler does not. That's one of the downsides to Juggler. He just when he's dead, he's dead. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say here, but the big problem I have is that Elucia is a physical only tank, and I feel like that's not very useful nowadays.
More magic users are popping up.
Yeah, even if you spend a lot of your time banning magical damage, I mean, it's like, if you have Elucia in your box, I think people will immediately know, I can bring a magical attacker to try to get around her, and that's the biggest problem I have with Elucia. Juggler does have some trouble tanking magic, but at least he has that as an option. The second part of Elucia's talent is to just she inflicts water on enemies that attack her, and if they're already in water, she actually can stun them. So a lot of Elucia's effects are basically, if they're already in water, she'll do some kind of extra effect on them. So it makes her kind of a fun character to play around with, but I just feel like she's very gimmicky. I feel like she doesn't really replace the aquatic tank we already have, which is Juggler.
Yeah.
The other thing she has is that she has Chain Hook. Previously was locked to 2 R characters, Lester and Pierre. Lester isn't used that often in PvP anymore, but Pierre, you might see him once in a while. Pierre, in some ways, is actually better than Elucia, because Pierre can restore HP by ending turn on water. Although Elucia does have the ability to just sort of generate water on her own very easily. That's the main thing I noticed about Elucia, but otherwise, she seems very gimmicky and just not...
Wait, no, actually she does. She has at the end of the turn, if damage is not dealt, recovers 20% of the unit's HP.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, I guess
she has endurance.
Okay, so she does have a...
Yeah, but it's a cost skill, so
that's not too bad then. Okay, yeah, Pierre 40% HP recovery when he's in water. So Pierre can heal more than Elucia can, but Elucia is probably tankier than Pierre is.
I mean, yeah, definitely the stats.
Yeah, just the stat difference alone, yeah, is. And then on top of that, Elucia will have her physical damage reduction. So the way I feel about Elucia is that if you know for sure that you have a water map coming up, if you have the lake map coming up, and you have Elucia in your backup box or something, then I feel like you can bring Elucia out and she'll be pretty useful. But to me that means Elucia is pretty much only going to be used by whales who have the budget to actually start her up just for that purpose.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Elucia's factions are just Luxia's factions are so bad. Glory and Strategic Masters. Strategic Masters isn't so bad. I mean, I think Lanford is an underrated unit. Ultimiller isn't that good though. So it's kind of hard to get a buff there. The Glory buff is kind of hard to get from a unit that's still relevant. I mean, obviously you probably wouldn't breed Layden with Elucia. Elwyn is a maybe, and Grenier is used occasionally, but yeah, it's just like her faction choice is really troublesome. Like it really would have helped if she was in like Meteor Strike or something, like all the other aquatic units are.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts on Elucia overall? Because I feel like, I mean, there's really not a lot to say about her. She has Chain Hook, she can inflict water on people, and after she does that, she can either stun them or silence them with various skills. It's kind of interesting, but I feel like it's just really, really gimmicky.
No, just that very gimmicky in general is what I'm feeling.
Yeah. I mean, we spent quite a bit of time talking about Shalinka, but I feel like Elucia, there's just not a lot to say. I mean, Elucia was basically not used on a Chinese server, and that's because just from looking at her skills, you can kind of tell, she's a little bit she's too niche and not really worth raising.
Yeah, kind of sad about that.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, and the problem is, like, because now they're releasing characters with their 3-cost skills bundled in, like, that just makes it worse because you can't even wait for a 3-cost skill to come along and really help them. And her 3-cost skill is just not that useful either.
Yeah, but if a unit pops up and they're just bad out the gate, they're just, can't really do anything. Compared to old units where, like, some are popping back up in popularity because there's 3-cost skills.
Yeah, and with that, maybe we should start talking about these new 3-cost skills. So,
yes, we should.
I feel like the theme of this patch is really, really boring, because every single thing I feel like is being added this patch is very boring. Not necessarily bad, but just very boring. The 3-cost skills we're getting this time for our old characters are Dieharte, Lana, and Kurama. I think all 3 of these are quite boring. So let's start with Dieharte. Dieharte is basically just a better Calamity. He gets a bit more critical hit rate, and it heals himself. And then it forcibly activates all his kill effects after using it, if he doesn't kill something. So, a couple thoughts on this from me. The extra crit rate is very useful, especially if you use a Cav Dieharte. The self-heal, it makes it so that, like, if you're attacking another ranged unit, you'll heal back up, and because he'll put up smoke, that means it gives them a much better chance of surviving a hit afterwards. Overall, I think it's a solid 3-cost skill, but I feel like Dieharte deserved better than this. I mean, Dieharte was a character that was kind of...
He was free if you played the first day.
Well, if you played the first day, you got him for free. But I mean, Dieharte, I feel like, was one of those characters that really needed a really strong 3-cost skill. This is okay. This is a fine 3-cost skill, but it's not going to make anybody pick up Dieharte if they weren't already using him. It's just a nice little buff for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really not much to say here. So the next one we can talk about is Lana's. Lana's is a 1.5 times damage attack that can attack at 3 range with her troops. Again, it's kind of boring. It's
just a mash combined a couple of other skills together.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird combination of like Dark Reaper and a standard like 1-cost attack skill. It has 1.5 times damage. It heals herself after usage, and then it's effective on 4 different unit types, which is what I think is one of the more unique things about it, is that it's effective on infantry, cavalry, flyers, and lancers. So in the meta, I think the most useful thing for this is to just hit Landius, because it'll be effective on Landius no matter what class he is and what troops he brings, pretty much.
Yeah, so now more threats to Landius.
Yeah, and you can attack from 3 range where Landius can't hit you back. He can Thorns you still, but he's not going to hit you back, which helps out Lana because she's paper thin.
Yep.
Against Juggler, just stick to Dark Scythe, I think.
Okay, who's next? Kurama.
Yeah, Kurama's 3-cost skill is also boring but practical, which is the theme. Again, that's the theme of this patch.
It makes him be considered.
I've run into a couple of Kuramas before. I think Kurama is a decent character in an AoE box. The biggest problem with Kurama was always when you tried to go single target on him. I mean, his Demonic Plant skill basically puts a debuff on someone that basically lasts forever, but if you attack with Demonic Plant again, it will reduce their magic defense by 50%. But because demonic plant's cooldown is like 6 or something, the odds of that happening, like even if you clock, like you can like dispel it off. So demonic plant was kind of annoying to use, but his new 3-cost skill actually puts demonic plant on multiple targets in range. So it's basically just a stronger version of Rose Whip Thorn Wheel. It's Rose Whip Thorn Wheel combined with demonic plant, pretty much. And it makes his single target attack more viable. For the most part, I feel like his AoE build is not going to change very much, but this is pretty much a better Rose Whip Thorn Wheel, which is fine because he pretty much always uses a 1-cost skill, which is his transform anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's really a lot to say here. When you're using this skill, you definitely want to ban like Dispellers. You want to get rid of Lana and stuff so that you can get as much value as you can out of putting demonic plants on a bunch of enemies. But if you're playing an AoE box anyway, you're probably banning Lana a lot. Do you have any experience using Kurama?
No. No. He's level 70.
Yeah, my
I don't even think I've put like a single like rank up in him at all.
Yeah, I don't think my Kurama is even leveled up actually. He's just sitting at the bottom of my character barracks. Kurama is a good AoE character. He has acid burns. That's the main thing about him. And Rose Whip Thorn Wheel, or this new 3-cost skill, both work well with that. You heal block someone.
I might want to use them because I still want an automatic goblin farming team.
Raise them just to farm goblins.
I gotta do all those manually, and I know I'm getting tired of it.
I can auto. Yeah, you do want to raise some AoE characters to get rid of those goblins, but you don't need to use Kurama for that. You could just use Egbert.
I do have a good
old Egbert. All right, again, all 3 of these 3-cost skills really boring, but they're all good. Not much to say here. Let's move on from these boring 3-cost skills to these boring special equipment that they're adding. Do you want to talk a little bit about this stupid helm they added for Angelica?
It's like they looked at Angelica and went, how much gimmicky can we get with her? And then they had the brilliant idea of giving her this.
So this helm recovers HP of the allied summon with the lowest health. So first off, when's the last time you saw a summoned unit take more than 1 hit? I think this is okay in PvE. Like sometimes Angelica, like because Angelica's own summon is like it takes the stats of whatever troop you blew up to summon it with. So that will have okay survivability in a PvE situation. Maybe in that case, Angelica will be able to heal it a little bit once in a while. But this feels so gimmicky. Like, yeah, even for PvE, I think it's not that good. For PvP, like I see no reason to bring this at all. Bring Tenyo's headdress on her. Just like do not use this. Yeah, I mean Angelica is used sometimes in Heroes of Time boxes, crossover boxes, because she is an extra faction buff, and that's useful. And Angelica is, I mean, of course, Angelica is well known for her ability to combo with Sumire. But yeah, aside from that, this helm does not help with any of those things. So it's very odd, like, because Angelica was already a character that was pretty much only brought to faction buff. So it's odd that they added a special equipment for her that really does not help her stand out in any way, because I feel like she really needed that.
Yep.
The other special equipment they're adding is actually quite useful, I think. It's young Jessica's special equipment.
Sorry, this is the one that I meant that I was going to get, not the other gimmicky helmet.
Okay, so yes, this one says if Jessica ends her turn without dealing damage or moving, she can act again. So I think this is actually a really good helm for her. I feel like some people might still use Tenyo's headdress just because Tenyo's headdress is so overpowered, but otherwise this helm works very well with her. Basically, the way I see this used is because her talent actually gives her movement when she ends her turn without moving. What you do with this helm is to just, if she's already transformed into her turret mode, you end your turn. You get the talent buff, which gives her some movement, and then you act again, which allows you to move young Jessica a little bit. to wherever you need her to.
Yeah, and if you get Breeze procced on that first turn.
Yeah, if you get a Breeze, I don't know if Breeze stacks with her talent. I don't really use her, so I'm not sure if Breeze stacks with her
I
talent.
think it does. I have Breeze on mine, and I remember using it, so...
Okay, so the Breeze does stack with the talent, is what you're saying?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't have used it if it wasn't. If it didn't work.
Okay, so that sounds very useful.
I think it gives an extra tile. So her normal one is one tile, and then when Breeze pops, it just is a second tile.
Her talent gives 2 tiles if she's at 6 stars.
I don't know 6 stars.
Yeah,
I'm poor.
Well, you'll get there eventually.
Yes, we will.
So yeah, I mean, if it stacks with Breeze, that means she can actually get like 4 tiles from two.
Oh yeah, with that helmet, yeah, that would be really cool. Then that's.
So yeah, I mean that was always like Young Jessica's one of the problems with Young Jessica is like once you root her down, it's very hard to like. It's kind of hard to move her around. I mean, I guess you could teleport her with like Iris or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this is a pretty good helm. It fixes one of the problems with Young Jessica, which is that once she's rooted down, it's hard to get her to move around. I mean, usually what you would do is that you use her transform again because using her transform allows her to act again. So you can turn off her transform and then move her, but then you have to wait for the transform to come back up. Yeah. This one allows her to stay transformed, just wait a turn, and then move and then attack as she needs to. Yeah, so I know this is a pretty short episode, guys, but like we said, this is a pretty boring patch. Like everything is like, it's fine. There's not much to say. Is there anything in particular you think you're excited about Frontier?
No.
I'm not excited for anything in life.
No, man.
I myself, I use Dieharte occasionally, so 3-cost skill will be useful, but yeah, I mean, I probably will not be pulling for Shalinka or Elucia because I went broke pulling for Ares.
Yes, we all remember that.
But aside from that, good 3-cost skills, good special equip. Not much to say. Nothing groundbreaking, but just they're all fine. Alright, you have any closing thoughts on this boring patch Frontier?
No.
Okay.
I don't even want anything except for the one helmet, but even then, it's like I don't need it this second.
Hey, you still use Lana, right?
Yeah, I do use her, and I will be happy about that skill popping out.
You can use her 3-cost skill, blow up some Landiuses.
Yay!
Alright. Well, aside from that, I think that's pretty much all we have for you guys today. It's a short episode, but there's not much to say. You got anything for our audience, Frontier?
Nope. See you till next time.
Alright, see you guys later.